I think the current voting age is good. You want something that's kind of in the middle. You don't want it to be so young that people can't make an educated decision, but you don't want it to be so old that it's not an accurate depiction of how our country feels.
I think 18 is okay, but I believe that there should be a cap on where it ends, because at some point you're having people that vote, they don't see the effects of what they're voting for.
I agree but disagree. It gets a little complicated for me. One, I'm not too political, but I know also that I can be political at times. And for me not to be able to vote, I kind of find it a struggle. And then if you go into, like, the law, you getting pulled over, you can get tried for an adult for type things, but you mean to tell me at my age I can't vote?
I think it should kind of just stay where it is because, 18-year-olds they're not going to have the best judgment, but they are legal adults, so they do deserve to have a say in what happens.
On the other hand, it's like a maturity thing, and that's kind of what it was set for. They think, 18 is mature enough and all of this, but trust me, I know plenty of 16-year-olds that are a lot more mature than 18-year-olds, and I just think you have to really understand what goes into voting, and it's not just listening to, your friends or anything. I think it's not more so an age thing, but more so a knowledge thing.
I feel like it maybe could be lowered just because, yes, voting is a very mature thing. You have to be knowledgeable of what's going on in the world, and that is very important to voting. You shouldn't go into voting not knowing anything about what's going on, because why are you there then? Because it's like, that's the point of voting, is to know what's going on, to be a part of what's going on, what's going to happen next. It all affects you, even if you are younger than 18.
So with the current voting age being 18, I feel like it should stay that way. I don't feel like it should get any younger, and I'm happy with it. I'm 17, and I feel like I could vote. Not that obviously I couldn't, because obviously I can't. But I feel like I'm knowledgeable enough to be able to vote just as any other 18-year-old. And I get affected by it just as much as 18-year-olds do. And people older than that.
I think 16 is too young to vote, and I'm 16 right now. And while I can consume political content and be aware and I have my own opinion on who I would vote for, I know how other people my age think and that they don't consume that same media, so I feel like there would just be people kind of taking it as a joke, taking things too lightly when that's a really serious decision.
And we have no say in this matter. We can't vote. We can get our voices out there, but only to a certain extent. So I feel like maybe the voting age should be lowered.
We are, as teens, are mature enough and should be eligible just because of the sole fact that we are people, and not that just we are people, but we have that constitutional right to be able to have a say-so, and it can trigger more success in voting because not everybody votes.
I don't think the future of our country should be put into hands of people lower than 18. I feel like 18 is a pretty good age, and 18 itself is it's pretty young, but also 18 kind of gives you a little bit of freedom, and then I don't feel like it should be 21 or anything. So I feel like keep it at 18 and just, yeah.
In a perfect world, I would say that they have votes on some things, if something directly affects them, directly affects education or something, then yes, they should have a say in it. But if it's something that's not going to affect them, and then probably not, because I'm 16. I would not trust myself to make super important decisions. So,
and I feel like people's arguments to that question is, well, they're too young, they don't know what they're talking about. There is just as many adults who don't know what they're talking about, just as many adults that are uneducated who have the right to vote because of their age.
I think that there are some very politically minded people that are smart enough to vote at that age, but that percentage isn't enough for me to say that we should lower it, because at that point there are some kids that are 16 that can't vote. There could be a test to take if you're that age, but that's cool, I would say.